Transit TV, welcome back to our EPL studios. Our studios today, of course, we're going to bring you a recap of the games for this weekend. Have some fantastic results, some surprising and compelling ones. It's been a weekend of consolidation on top of the EPL table. In the middle as well, some interesting results came in. So here we today with my man Obum to run through the results and pay particular attention to a couple of games that really stood out for the weekend. Ugum, you are welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much, Reggie. Great to be on Transit TV again after a very interesting weekend of football. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah, I see you donning your Arsenal jersey today. Proud Gunner, man.
I
What a
am,
weekend for Arsenal.
100%.
What a weekend for Arsenal. Arsenal continued their recent resurgence on top of the league after winning fifth consecutive game from coming back from the losing five or not winning in five. It was interesting for Arsenal fans. But let's start with Brighton at home to Liverpool. That was the first game of the weekend. And for some large chunk of that game, it looked like Brighton was going to be... Brentford, sorry. Brentford was going to pull off a surprising result or be a kind of... if you're an Arsenal athlete, you'll be hoping that it looks like they're going to do you a favor this weekend. But another day, we know that game ended 1-4 in favor of Liverpool. I want to ask a question on that game. Ivan Toney was started to be suited for Arsenal, probably what Arsenal needed to push a title charge this season. But I watched him in that game. There were a few chances that were created. He missed them. And since he came back, he scored a few goals for Brentford. But do you think Arteta was I remember you and I had that debate on this forum. I don't know who. I think it was Jude Aspetel, my guy that is in the UK, that was saying Arsenal needed the striker, and we were telling him. I told you guys that the way Arsenal plays, having a point man might be good, but I don't think it's very, very necessary for the team to succeed. So looking at it now, the way Arsenal is doing, do you think Ivan Toney would have been a better option to have in the team than the way Arsenal is playing?
Well, I know that Tony is a good player. Good player in the sense that not just a good goal scorer, but a good footballer. He's able to, he's able to link up play. He's able to make plays. He's able to improvise when necessary. Makes very intelligent runs, and is quite effective. At the end of attacks. And so he scored 4 out of 5 so far since he came back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he would have had something solid value to add to Arsenal. Mm-hmm. There's a difference between, this person can be a good addition to the team, to help the team score more goals, and this person is a difference between winning the league and not winning the league.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. So those are two different things. I'm of the opinion that, yes, he can, of course, because he's a good player and he's proven, he can do well in the Arsenal team. Now, what I'm not very sure of yet is bringing that value, that cutting-edge value that will propel Arsenal to multiple trophies because he's joined the team. That's where I have, my concerns. We watch Arsenal week in, week out, and there's a tendency to maybe not quite recognize the speed of thought and execution that the Arsenal team currently has. Yeah, the level of efficiency, being able to hold on to that ball and not lose it, being able to make smart decisions on the spot, on the fly, under few seconds, because you're always
Let me not drag you into Arsenal. We'll talk about that when we get to Arsenal. Okay, let's look at Liverpool. Go ahead. Okay. Hey, Liverpool. I I know I was well. I still stand by it. I felt that Liverpool didn't have what it takes to win the league. They're a good team. Don't get me wrong, but I felt that the balance of that team was not right. But so far they have proven me wrong. My question is, Musala came back his first game, managed to still score one yesterday. Do you think the return of Salah might be the difference between the Arsenal catching up with Liverpool and Liverpool winning the league?
I think it might be the difference because you have to give Salah his props, right? You have to give Salah his flowers. Salah is a phenomenal player. Some people say he's perhaps the best player presently in the EPL. And I will not doubt them because it's proven. He simply scores goals, not just scores goals, makes the team better. So you can see that this Liverpool, he is a live wire. He is the person that the difference maker, so to speak, for Liverpool. In spite of all the injuries, the external injuries they had in that game, once Salah came in, the threat multiplied for Liverpool. So we looked at Brentford. Brentford had multiple opportunities to really do some damage to Liverpool earlier on. They didn't take those chances. They were not quite as effective or as efficient. So once Salah came in, it became a different ball game. And of course, Liverpool went on to win. So yes, he can be the difference between Liverpool winning the league and not winning it.
Yes, I saw. I mean, apart from scoring goals, Salah, I don't. He seems not to lose his motivation. The way he fights, the way his drive is phenomenal. And when you have that in your team, somebody like Salah in your team, it's difficult for opponent to ignore your threats going forward and attack you. You have to make a contingent plans to nullify Salah, and it can't be just giving him one player. You have to make serious contingent plans to stop him from hurting your team, and with that, other areas of the pitch could be lacking for your team. Then, surprise of the season so far: Newcastle to Bournemouth 2. Newcastle, after what they did last season, many were even saying that Newcastle was going to be a more serious title contender this season than Arsenal. But so far this season, Newcastle have disappointed in all fronts. They went out in all other competition apart from the EPL. I felt that they were going to probably come together, harness the team, and take the EPL seriously and start turning out results. But the thing has persisted, and Newcastle playing 2-2 at home to Bournemouth. I don't know, what do you make of Newcastle for the rest of the season?
Yes, you were right. They've been disappointing. But then you were of the opinion that the way that they played and the way that they were set up last season was still not good enough. We felt that they could only attack those that they were superior to. Against those that they were not superior to, they would just retreat and pack the balls and hit on the counter. So I think that's coming to finally show, right? Perhaps the limitations of their coach, in the sense that he's a man known for expansive football, but due to some reason, maybe pressure or maybe holding on to the job, he hasn't played that kind of football that we're used to from him. But they are Newcastle, even with more resources and better players. And so contrast that with Bournemouth, where their coach, with the little resources that he has built a team that has confidence, using the likes of Clivert and Solanke, and playing some really good football. They put the football ball on the ground and they move the ball and they score goals and they defend well. And so it's quite surprising on one hand that Newcastle, with all their resources, are not are not consolidating and moving to the next level. But on the other hand, their coach, the way he set up the team, you don't see a trajectory. You don't see a definite structure being improved on month to month, year to year, that will get them to a point where they'll start to dominate.
Yes, you're very right. I remember I said it that Newcastle lacked identity. The Newcastle that you see this week is not what you're going to see next week. If you're going to be a counter-attacking team, okay, let's know that's what you're known for. You keep to it, let the players master it, and perfect it. But today, this week, they will play counter-attacking football. Next week, they are all over the place. And I know thank you for reminding me. I know I kept saying it that, and I don't think this is sustainable. I don't think this team can do anything serious if the coach continues to do this, because it's confusing to the players. And how do you sign players? Because you sign players that are suited to your philosophy. And your philosophy has to be almost, yes, once in a while in games, you tweak certain things using depending on the person you have on ground. But you should sign players that are suited to certain type of a way to play. But when you go and sign players, good players, but they're not for any particular philosophy, you wake up any day, you wake up, whatever you feel like doing, you deploy. It kind of confuses the players and affects your effectiveness. And I think that has come to bear. And it's really surprising that Newcastle is actually probably going to miss out in Europe completely this season after all the resources. And I don't think he will remain there next season. I don't think Newcastle, if they don't make it to Europe next season, I don't see him remaining in Newcastle next season. They'll get rid of him. And that would be very, very bad to lose a coach of that caliber. And his profile definitely will be hot, and he probably will lose out in any significant job in the EPL, because coaches are coming out from outside the league now and are doing things. So for you to get a good job in EPL now, you must be doing something important or something serious. And Newcastle, surprisingly, and with this, I won't be surprised if they also lose players next season to other teams. Somewhere like Isaac, if Liverpool were to come, or Arsenal, or even United, if they can accept together next season and come, Newcastle can lose. Isaac can decide to leave. If United with what Ratcliffe is trying to package in United now, and they're ready to sign players next season and make him an offer, he might decide to go. People like Bruno Guimaraes might start looking elsewhere as well, because they have been in Newcastle now for this is the third season, and nothing serious has happened. And they might start to lose some of these players, and that's a very big shame for Eddie Howe and Newcastle as a place. I was very proud of them, the way they approached their project. They didn't go splashing cash and signing players all over the place. They tried to build the team, and they managed to assemble some good materials and tools for the coach. But unfortunately, I don't know, like you said, for lack of confidence or being unsure, or probably pressure to get results, now he has lost it all. So I really got it for Newcastle fans. They supported the team and gave it their all, but somehow Eddie Howe lost their confidence and has not been able to steer the team to a particular direction. Then Tottenham Hotspur are home to Wolves. They lost 1-2. That's another team that I don't really know what to make of. We have talked about Tottenham very much on this platform, and I was of opinion that you cannot play football like this at this age in football, because teams are more structured, teams are more intelligent. You can't go at this pace. Were you surprised with that result? Because I know Wolves is a team that you like. I know Gary O'Neill has been doing wonders since he joined that team. Were you surprised? And what do you have to say about Tottenham?
I thought Wolves would be a very formidable opponent for Tottenham. So I expected a tough game for Tottenham against Wolves. Wolves, I would say I don't like Wolves. Are not one of my favorites, but their coach is. Yeah, so by virtue of their coach, yes, I kind of like the way because he's fearless. The team is fearless with attacking. They are fearless with putting pressure on no matter who you are as an opponent, and no matter your reputation. So, and that's what they did. The wickedness of the counter attacking by Neto that led to the second goal was crazy. Again, Tottenham, I would say right now they have a brilliant coach. I like their coach. You can clearly see his ideas. You have to respect a coach that comes into a club, and within a few months, you start to see the coach's stamp on the team. Yeah, so that's why I would give him a lot of props for what he's been able to achieve at Tottenham. However, the squad that he has in that club, there are certain players that as long as they are in that team, I don't think they will achieve the level that they want. I think that their squad still needs quite a lot of revamping. This Brazilian dude that they bought from Barcelona, what's his name? Plays fullback, right fullback for them. Sometimes they play him even as centre back.
Okay. What's his name again?
Oh
Uh,
gosh, I've forgotten his name. Yeah, for me that guy is just Jay Joker. You know those are not the kind of players that if you have hopes of winning the EPL or credible hopes of winning multiple trophies, those are not the players you can count on, right? So I think that they still need to do a bit of work on their team. This guy turned the ball over that led to the second goal. Besuma turned the ball over. A good player, but again, personnel wise, they need to do more work to get to where they want to be. Uh, Madison has been doing very well, but Madison again has started to remind me of Bruno Fernandez
okay, you're talking
at, at,
about Emerson
at
Royale.
United. Emerson Royal, yes. So he's starting to remind me. Bruno Fernandez, Madison reminds me of him. A bit flaky, not so solid as a footballer. He can give you incredible moments, but when the chips are down, to stand up and fight and really, really, stand up and do what needs to be done. Something like what the guy is doing presently at Arsenal. I do not trust Madison to give me that week in, week out. So yeah, that's the only thing. And they ended up losing that game in spite of playing and dominating position. It is what it is.
Yeah, yes. Chama, you're welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. Vias Chama has just joined us, and we expect to get our words on the street. You have missed that so far. Sorry to. I know it's an awkward hour back home there in Nigeria right now, but thank you for always finding the energy and the strength to join us on the podcast. We are running through the results recap of the EPL this weekend with all these surprising and fantastic results that came in. We're running through them with particular attention to Liverpool City and Chelsea, of course, on top of the EPL table. You are welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Reggie.
Yeah, so
Hi, Ugo.
okay.
Right, Choma, welcome.
Like you said, I think I'm with you on Madison. When he signed for Tottenham, there was all this rave and noise about him. I said, well, you guys should not forget that he's part of a very talented and squadded Leicester City team that was relegated. So I wasn't, like you said, there are some players that come in and work for the team, and there are players that are good, but they are more important. They're more focused on their personal reputation and their numbers. Madison strikes me as one of those players. As long as he scores one or two worldies, he's good. He doesn't really strike me as a player that puts his eyes on the biggest prize available. And this could be a problem for Tottenham. Because the way Tottenham plays, the highland that they keep, the ferocity that they use in playing and starting their games, they need everybody firing in terms of both defending and attacking. You don't just expose yourself that way and allow opponent any chance to get in behind you, because once that happens, it's always a risk. I'm playing against a team like Wolves. Wolves are not, when it comes to attacking or counter attack, I don't think any team in EPL does better than them in terms of the speed that they have. And like you said, that guy Neto is fearless. He doesn't care. He doesn't know the number at the back of your jersey. As long as that ball is to his feet, that he can see space in front of him, he's gonna attack you, and he will attack you real good. I wish he scores more goals, because this guy creates chances upon chances every game for Wolves. Every time. Even there yesterday, he had opportunity to score 2 more goals in that game if he was clinical. But of course, Tottenham, let me not say they were lucky. Of course, they still lost the game, but it could have been worse if Neto was more clinical. So, and with that, if you look at the EPL table right now, Aston Villa, we know, won yesterday 2-1 away to Fulham. This is another team that has been faltering in the last few weeks. They've been, producing some very disappointing results, but probably they have found their way back now. They are fourth on the table, followed by Tottenham 47. United is crawling back a little bit. We'll look at the table much later as we round up the episode. The next one is City at home 1-1 to Chelsea. I'm sure this one, I wasn't really shocked, but I didn't expect it. One of the reason why I wasn't shocked is, you remember last week I said City can't keep clean sheets. Did you know that in 14 EPL games, City has only kept 2 clean sheets? 14. They are considered in 12. So, and I remember I mentioned it last week that this team can't just keep clean sheet. And I don't know if you were to be Arsenal or Liverpool, I'm sure many will say this is the reason why they cannot win the league. They are guaranteed they cannot win it because they can't keep clean sheets. But we did it. They're saying that defense wins you title, attack wins you games. So looking at this, it looks like there's something off for City when it comes to keeping clean sheets in games. And secondly, I want to also highlight the fact I don't have the record now, but I can't remember how many Big Six games City has won this season. I know Arsenal beat them at the Emirates 1-0. I know they played 4-4 against Chelsea, the reverse fixture in London. Now they play 1-1. I also know that they drew with Liverpool. I think they've not played the second leg. And what I can't remember is their game against United. I can't remember. I also know they drew against Spurs. And this was what was being used against Arsenal some years, but Arsenal cannot win, not even at home, away to the big teams. And this season, City has struggled to win any of the Big Six teams. I can't remember if they have won any. If they have, it probably be United. So I don't know if you know that result between Manchester City and United. So I don't know, Chuma, what do you make of City? They can't keep clean sheet. They can't win big games. What is going on? I know it's very easy for one to say based on what they have done so far in the league, they're still favorite in the bookies. In the bookies, did you think this should be a worry for any Manchester City fans or the team?
I mean, I think on Saturday we're having a conversation. So I was so confident that they were going to kick Chelsea in the truth and make it hard for them to breathe. I was so convinced. I was like, oh, this is a very easy game. And then I'm like, what is happening here? If someone had asked me to give goals, I would have given City 3 goals. And then probably Chelsea won. Of course, Palmer scoring to prove a point, I thought so. But City, now they have 53 points behind Arsenal. I mean, I remember some weeks ago, they were having bad markets and, they dropped some points. All of a sudden, it's like the big boys came back. They are better again. So what do I think is happening to them? I can say fatigue, because it's a fancy word here. But somehow, this season hasn't been easy for them. I can tell you that, because I mean, this is the City that we all have been watching, even as fan favorites to our dearest clubs. But City has always been that. That's where you start checking anything you want to check. That's where you start praising whatever kind of football you want to praise. But at this moment, it's not gelling. It's not gelling. And if they keep going at it this way, they might even start getting beaten by teams like Brighton and Luton Town if they don't take it seriously. But do I think that, they might not make it for this title race? No, I still think they have got, what it takes to make it if they put their house in order. But apart from that, I think something is wrong somewhere. Something is wrong somewhere.
Yeah, Ugum, I don't know if you remember at the beginning of the season, I've heard what Choma says, and I agree with her. City are still favorites to win the league, but these things I've pointed out are things to worry about. If you remember the beginning of the season, I said it that if there's any year anybody can win the league off City, is this season. And I gave my reasons about motivation with after winning the treble and the quality of the players that that left the team. You remember they lost Gundogan, lost
Mm-hmm.
Mares, and of course this guy joined Barcelona. What's his name? The right back. You know, I pointed all that
Okay.
out. I don't think that Doku, as flamboyant and as ferocious as he looks, I don't think he has
Yeah.
the intelligence to be a difference maker for City.
Mm.
You know, so I don't know. What do you make about City? Can Arsenal dream? Can Liverpool dream? Does it look like to you? What do you think is fundamentally wrong? Like I said, I don't think they have won any Big Six game this season, and they still have to play Liverpool. They still have to play Arsenal. They still have to play uh, United second leg, and I don't know. I think they still have a game with Tottenham. Having said or that, looking at what they have done so far with these big teams, do you think City might be short of winning the title based on these things, not keeping clean sheet and not winning big games?
With all due respect to City, I saw something in against Chelsea that I would be worried if I were a City fan for this season. They didn't look as invisible as I thought they were against Chelsea. I predicted before the Chelsea game that Chelsea had a chance against City. I said that Chelsea just needed to be a bit more solid defensively. Choma, you're my witness. I said they needed to be a bit more solid defensively. As for the offensive end, I felt that Chelsea had the tools and the players to hurt City. Right. So City are showing some defensive frailties. Yes, that I didn't expect. Maybe because of a couple of injuries here and there. Maybe because of wear and tear. The likes of Kyle Walker and the rest of them, they've played and played and played and played nonstop for so long that is starting to show. Even their goalkeeper is not looking as solid, as unshakable as he used to. He's looking a bit more shaky now. So that's one part of it. Another part of the conversation, like Reggie mentioned, is this issue of having a striker, comparing City and Arsenal. The narrative is that Arsenal need a striker like Haaland to win the league. And I looked at that game yesterday, right? If it was Arsenal playing that game with their current team and drawing 1-1 the way they did yesterday against City, the narrative would be, without a striker, Arsenal can never win the league, can never win this kind of game when the game going gets tough. In fact, after the Arsenal game, before the City game, after the Arsenal game on Saturday, I heard the likes of John Barnes. He doubled down on the fact that Arsenal weren't really a contender because they don't have a striker that will
an orthodox or established striker,
yes, that will help them win. The games like the game City played against Chelsea. But City had Haaland, right? They had all the offensive weapons against Chelsea. Haaland was there firing blanks. While Arsenal that didn't have a striker, scored 6 goals against Burnley with wingers, defenders, and midfielders. So, this when you really read into the deep end of these games and analyze them properly, you see that people just go with the bandwagon thing, what is very nice to hear on the surface and all that. So it takes coaches like Arteta that will stubbornly break the mold and use what they have to the best of their ability and create something that's not been created before. So, yes, answering your question, I've run all over the place, but City, agreeably, aren't looking quite as strong and as invincible as they've looked in the past. And I believe both Liverpool and Arsenal have a chance.
Yes, I agree with you completely. And if I also remember, I've mentioned it in the past that City defenders don't like one-on-one defending. City has been a team that win games with putting pressure on you up top and defending as a team. When you lose intelligence of players like Gundogan in the middle of the park who find a way to pick holes in the midfield, and you're left with Silva, who now probably looks like he doesn't really want to be there. I remember it was last minute that he changed his mind and signed a new contract with City. So they're losing that intelligence in the middle of the park to protect their defense. So the defense is now expected or exposed to defend as individuals. And I've always said that City defenders don't. There's a saying that people that like to defend, defenders that they just they like defending. City play defenders probably are signed more or for their ability on the ball than actually defending. So when you play against City and you're confident, you have players off top that are willing to take on City defenders, it usually shows. So I think that's one of the problems that they're having. They don't have real orthodox defenders, and at the same time, they don't have intelligence around the pitch to defend their team. Rodri, very important piece of the puzzle for City, but most of the time these days he's left on his own in the middle of the park to do all the work. He tries to do the defending, the protecting of the defense, and as well most times provide, like yesterday, he's the one that scored for them. Foden, as good as he is, I've said it before on this forum. I remember Pep saying that Foden is a very fantastic talent, but he does what his mind tells him, meaning that he's not a player that sticks to the coach's strategy. And things like this can affect the rhythm and the structure of a team. I think these are some of the things that are affecting City right now. They are still a team to beat. They are still top favorite. But if you really, like Ugun mentioned, if you really break it down and look at the team, just remove what they have done the last 5 seasons and break the team and look at them the way they play, you could see that it's hope for Liverpool. You could see that there's hope for Arsenal in this season. And I wouldn't be surprised if they lose out in the league title this season. And the interesting thing is, okay, let's look at Manchester United, because before I talk about the league table, and then of course we'll move to Arsenal. United again today won 2-1 against Luton. You can say what you want to say about United, but somehow, especially since the announcement of Sir Ratcliffe coming into the fold of United, they have been getting some results. Right now, they are sixth on the table behind Tottenham, 3 points separating them and Tottenham. And you know that this season, the fifth on the table for EPL have a chance of making it to the Champions League next season. Do you guys think United, with all that the team has gone through this season, do you think they can pull off a surprise and make top 4 or even top 5 on the EPL table at the end of the season?
Yes, so if I may go first.
Oh yeah, Ugum, go ahead.
Okay. Yes, I think they have a good chance of making it, mainly because the people they're fighting against aren't exactly enough trees. Apart from Aston Villa, that's shown some good form, they've also faltered quite a bit recently. So, apart from Arsenal and Liverpool and Manchester City, United are the other form team in the league. They're winning games. They've won their 5th or 6th consecutive game so far now in the EPL. And that says a lot. It's not easy. The pattern of play isn't quite there. The structure isn't quite there. The game, they're not dominating games. They're not dominating opponents. But it says a lot that even in spite of not dominating, they're winning games. That's where you start from. And then you continue to gain confidence after every win. And before you know what's going on, the team will start contending for the highest honors. So based on current form, based on the squad that they have, based on the confidence factor that's very crucial in the EPL, I think they will make top 4.
Well, I know United is your based on your affiliations within your family. United is another team that you root for. Do you think that they are resurgent? Do you think
Yeah.
they can go above Tottenham and Aston Villa in the league table at the end of the season, considering the results they are picking these days? Yeah, they're not playing particularly well. Some of the games that they have won, they didn't really have the right to win them. But I mean, 3 points is 3 points, and they are climbing. And in fact, that considering their position in the table, and now they are fighting to onslaught
And
Tottenham and
making moves in
Aston.
a very untidy way.
Sorry.
They're actually making moves in a very untidy way.
Yeah.
Just in the middle of mud. It's like they're playing in the mud and then getting some points and moving on. I actually made a very bad joke. I think preseason, I said United would win the league this season. I was trying to console my family members and my friends that I care about. And I'm like, what's happening? And today's game, I was like, oh, they play Luton Town. It's going to be a goal bonanza, extravaganza, rather. I was like, these guys must have done a very good job defensively to actually have just kept Luton Town at one goal. Like, I'm telling you this, if not for anything, like, if I don't want to praise them tonight, like, I want to talk about how they were able to pin all those boys down, or else those beautiful Nigerian men did not play today. I mean, what's that his name? The guy that would always break in goals. I think he got 2 goals the last time.
Adebayo.
There's another one.
No, it's called a hat trick, not 2 goals.
Yeah, there's another one. Oh, that was a hat trick. Yeah, I remember. There's another guy. And then today, it was just Sammy Lokonga, everywhere. Sammy. I was so proud. But then, United, Kakili, I'm so sorry I'm using the word Kakili. Like, they are just making moves. And we remember this was how they started in the mud last season. And somebody said they lived a fake life and found their way into Champions League. So what makes us certain that these guys will not crawl out of the mud and become the second or third? And again, make it to the Champions League again with a fake life. So this is something, I mean, people don't even think United are in the conversation, but personally, I'm leaving all my cards on the table.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about them.
Yeah, it's good you mentioned it. If you cast your mind back, last season, even when Arsenal was playing, if you remember very well, I used to say that until mathematically United is out of the equation, it is a team that for so many reasons, I know it's going to be an unpopular opinion, but United has this marriage with EPL referees. Things just go their way at the crucial point of the season. So that's why I never ruled United out. I never ruled them out. They've been a team right from the time Ferguson was there. They're a team that find a way to get results when they really, really need it. And I'm not surprised at what they're doing now. Like Choma mentioned, at this stage of the season, somehow they churn out these 3 points and keep climbing. I wouldn't be surprised if United make it to top 4, because that's the kind of club or team that they are. You can say what you want to say about them, but somehow, things just favor them. Nature favors them. The league favors them. Results favor them. They just sometimes it looks as if even the opponent is playing for them. Opponent will just not score, and United will find one chance and get the 3 points and keep climbing. So I won't be surprised another season to find them above Tottenham and Aston Villa on the league table.
They keep their